That's really good last pick for Navi.
So, Bane is our last pick for Navi. Time to get into our second game of the quarterfinal. Remember, VG Gaming from China 1-0 up. Let's go back to our commentators, Synderen and Toby1. Thank you very much, Paul. We are back here for game number 2 of Navi up against VG Gaming. It's a single elimination quarterfinal. That's what we're doing right now, Sin. So it's all on the line. Navi, one loss away from being eliminated from ESL ONE.
I think they have a better draft this time around, though.
Yes, I think we both agree on that.
Yeah, the first game was kind of I don't want to... I'm not sure if gimmick is the right word for it, but it seemed a little bit like they invested a lot into something that might work.
Let's use the word experimental.
Yeah, it was kind of experimental. Interestingly enough, this time it was FNG drafting, which we saw. So
yep.
Maybe Navi is... They had Dendy picking in the last game. I don't know if we should read too much into this, or if it's just like a little thing, but it looks like they're back to the stable Navi here with FNG in the captain slot. So the one thing Navi has dealt with this time around is that I don't feel like their lineup is as all-in as it was in the previous game. This time they have way more control. They have Ravage, they have Overgrowth, they have Team Script and all of that. And they have decent late game too. So I would agree with Mel to the saying that Vici is probably stronger late game, but I'm not sure if I agree on a sentiment that it's by a long stretch. Weaver is incredible late game, and I don't think Vici has good Weaver solutions. They don't really have that much against it. Weaver is one of the carries that can actually kite a Tiny around fairly well. Ice again with the scout out here of the smoke. Yeah. Similar to game 1, Navi will not be successful.
Well, I should check out who is playing what in this game. So this is something which I believe VG Gaming actually did at WCA, where they ran Ice as this Tiny, and they actually give Black the Nature's Prophet in this game. So Ice prefers to play the Tiny, even though Black, he's played a lot of Tiny in his time. But they just won't give it to him in this game. That allows Super and FY to now run a dual lane bot lane up against whatever Navi throws them. It throws Ice in towards the middle lane as the Tiny, the off lane Nature's Prophet, and then the rotating Crystal Maiden. This actually gives me almost... Okay, they're actually switching the lanes up. Oh, I don't know, they're just sharing a tango. This actually gives me flashbacks to Wagamama strat start. Crystal Maiden as well as the Tiny was one of his older combinations he ran back in the days of Scornet. When they ran their dual lane in mid. And it's quite effective for your early burst damage because you're not really expecting, like Avalanche Toss comes up and you're at level 2, okay, that's some nice damage, but when you add Frostbite and Nova on top with the Avalanche and the Toss combo, your kill potential really goes up a long, long way with this combo.
I don't think he's going to be staying mid, though.
You don't? Not when there's 3 heroes showing themselves to
I think they're going to rotate the Crystal Maiden into the jungle/bottom, because they're going to realize that if Pavos plays this really well, I think he's going to win the lane against Brewmaster. Of course, there's 4 tangos and a salve on and a stout show on super, so it's going to take Pavos a while, but this is a lane Weaver will eventually win. And they are not interested in that happening. They're interested in shutting down probably, I guess we should say, arguably the main carry for Navi in this game, or it is if we go late enough. And interestingly enough, they put that in the offlane. So, yeah, Crystal Maiden will already be making her way there. They're going to try to pull mid. FY will be stacking again. Or, oh, sorry, that's the first time. That's 1 minute.
Surprisingly, they're not actually using the Wisp clearance to pull that middle lane. With just one range creep, you clean up the tree line, then you can just do the quick pull down. They surprisingly didn't do that. Even this mid, when they tether up for a moment. But FNG, this is gonna cripple their lanes a little bit more, because one good thing, like, okay, Havors will take a while to burn through Brewmaster's life points, fair enough, but Brewmaster's still pretty much up in his face. He's gonna get a quick level 6 on this Brewmaster. So when the split's up and available, it's a lot more difficult for Navi to take fights, and that's when they buy space for the Wisp and Tiny to come online. And what's Navi really trying to buy space for? Like, they need to find their levels as well. Havors kind of wants to get probably far more than he wants to get levels. And then up on the top lane, you got Black, who's kind of doing something similar. Like, he wants to get levels early on, but it's dependent on both. But Funnick needs to get his level 6 up. So when does the Brewmaster ulti hit? When does the Tide ulti hit? And who is the primary targets they're searching for? That's my question, Vlad.
Yeah, there's a lot of really important ultimates in this game. I think as far as Navi's laning goes, I would be favoring them a slight bit going into the early part of the mid game, unless if the Brewmaster gets a couple of really good ultimates off. The Ravage is, in combination with the other heroes now, I think it's got really good synergy.
It's going to be the greatest time for him with the DD rune that's been picked up by FY, but he living armors himself now. So by doing so, he can't provide leech seed for the rest of his teammates. For his mid solo where 5/5 gets too deep.
I want to talk a little bit more about. I feel like this game is going to be a lot closer. Let's say that for now. The lanes are kind of quiet right now. It's just being farming for both teams. One thing that you should never underestimate in a late game situation, bottom lane, Volos is actually going to get frostbitten after Shikuchi expires here. 3 seconds till the next one.
He needs to drug a brawler here. The living armor's going to help him.
Oh, that was really close.
But then again, Black, he's TP'd in for this one. He's got Sprout available. It's going to hold a ball here. He has to cut twice. I thought he would have cut out the wrong tree at the moment. He's low on life, and Black's keeping up with him. Shikuchi's off cooldown, though. So he'll run up the Wisp Force from FY. He try to come in range for it. VG Gaming, they're scampering across this map trying to search for any advantage they can gain early on.
And even though Black TP's in for that, I still think it's a win for Vici, even though they don't get the kill. Forcing Volos out of lane for about a minute here, sending him back to base, will mean that when he comes back, Super's going to have a level advantage, Crystal Maiden's going to be level 3 almost as well, and it's going to be a lot harder. But to get back to what I was talking about, Overgrowth is one of those abilities that's incredibly good against Tiny, because when Tiny goes into fights, in this game, when you're playing with an IO, Tiny will generally get either BKB or Manta as one of his 3rd or 4th items, sometimes a little bit earlier. But in this game, you're kind of going to need both, because the Treant can really be patient. There's no one else on Vici Gaming's side that's going to be dealing out insane damage in the teamfights unless Black gets really farmed, which he's not on the path to with his 5 CS at 4 minutes. You just wait with the Treant. And knowing FNG is probably going to get Arcanes into Blink, and then he'll just wait. Whenever the BKB or Manta is used, Overgrowth is going to shut down Vici so hard.
Poor Deadly. He rotated all the way down to that bottom rune area to pick up the rune, but he got frostbitten up and denied by the Crystal Maiden. And again, we see this 4-minute rotation. Again, Funnick as well as Avos, they just switch. And then... Well, Funnick's actually a hell of a lot better up against Super, but at the same time, the Super's rapidly approaching his level 6, so he may not care about this. With a quick rotation in from Ice or from Wisp, they could actually cause some problems. But then he's been very now passive in this middle lane. He's falling behind in the CS on this lane too.
This is not a lane he can really win. It's really similar to game 1, to be honest. He's playing a 1-on-2 lane and he's got 16 CS at 4 minutes. That seems to be the benchmark for him playing this 1-on-2 lanes, which I think is perfectly fine for Dendi right now. Death Prophet is a very farm-dependent hero, but it's not to the extent that you need free farm. Just getting 1 or 2 core items at a decent timing is going to be fine. And at the end of the day, if he can survive the burst of the Radiant, which gets a lot easier when you have living armor, I think you're going to be fine.
Middle lane, Avalanche, they're going in for Dendi. The Nightmare from Vanscore's going to hold Ice there. FY will take it off him for a moment. He knows there's a Wisp, he's able to survive that, and Dendi, maybe a little bit too early. They Nightmare switch around again. So no one will die here in the middle lane. And Ice has a trip stack prepared for him by FY. That's why I was just flagging before for the viewers at home that we have like a triple stack on one side, it's just mud columns on the other. But the triple stack's still going to burst Ice up. And now Avalanche toss the Whisper balls. Ice is too low. The living armor kept Vanscore up. And this will be a double crit score in 1 second. FY, you're toast. Danny will pick up a double kill here in the middle lane. And Navi find the start they were searching for in game number 1.
This is such a big deal, getting Dendi a double kill in that mid lane. Whenever, I think IO Tiny is one of the dual lane combinations, if not the dual lane combination, that has the highest competitive win rate. The games they lose is generally when the laning stage doesn't go well, either that you don't kill, or especially if you're playing a 2-on-1 lane or a 2-on-2 and you get killed in that lane. This is such a big deal because it sets back their impact quite a lot, and the lane they were supposed to win is now not even close. Dendi is winning it by quite a lot right now. Phase boots bottle at 6 minutes.
He's the highest net worth on the board now, 3,000 for him, and the nearest one to him is 800 away as far as Radiant side goes. And that's actually Tiny. Avalanche tossed him back. The Nightmare's over an Ice, but he doesn't have a combo yet. Then he actually triggers accident for this. Team Black was TPing in. But Ice, he's lost his friend and he will back out. And of course, with no Nature's Prophet there, he's got nowhere to really force any kind of issue.
Man, this is going to be a scary Death Prophet. And it's not just that. Navi are also winning the farm wars. They rotated Host to the top lane, and he's been forcing Black back to base at least once, I saw, maybe even twice. Black is playing without regen, so Weaver will play incredibly aggressively against this Nature's Prophet, who has no answer. This is an impossible lane for him to win, especially when he had a worse start. And at the same time, you've got Funnick free farming the bottom. He's got 43 CS. He got about 20 of those in the top lane.
Yep.
And since that point, they can't contest him in this bot lane. This Maiden and Brewmaster, what are they going to do? They walk in, start attacking, you anchor smash. Brewmaster does no damage. They're going to have to split for the kill. And even then, I think it's possible for Fun to live.
Vanscore's in a little bit of trouble. He's Nightmared up. Funnick's moving over. He just want to commit Ravage for this. At the same time, Ice also making his way over, and Funnick, he's going to reveal himself. The Avalanche toss trying to keep Vanscore out. The Ravage does come from FY, and he's going to tether himself away. The Wrath of Nature bouncing in. He's already going to start bottling up, ready to fight, as Ice throws Super into the middle of Ben's score. Picking up the bang, he's got tossed in 3 seconds time, he's got to try and keep up. The TP's coming in from the Prophet, the Spratic, hot Dandy, between Super jumps himself in. The clap 1 second away, Dandy's a little bit too fast, he's face boots. The early kills giving him the money for that Super, comes in for the clap again, but he's well off target. And they go back to their rune battle again. FY's going to deny this against Funnick. You can't have it, no one can have it. But this does actually show too the potential, without having a Blink Dagger over on the Brewmaster, that you are still capable of fighting. However, Ice, he's too far up. The Nightmare on him, support's rotating over, Funnick does not have Ravage. There is an Avalanche toss combination, he'll just toss him back. Avalanche as well, it's got to be used. Whole sending event score back to Funnick. Easy body block into the anchor smash. And Ice. Really got no man's land there.
Navi are starting to get a very sizable lead, and it's got the implications of them on the mid game here with Ice being 0-2 on top lane.
He's just back on power.
I think most can actually play this even more aggressively than he is, because there's no counter. The moment Tiny is dead, they can't stop him from using time-lapse. Unless they use Brewmaster Split, but then he's just going to time-lapse while that's happening. There's no targeted stuns. The only stun is Avalanche, so...
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Kravos going for some real 4 plays where he just dives really hard, because in this game you can definitely get away with it. I think
he's going to need Midas before he can do that, because he went for a straight hand of Midas over on Evolve, so with this he's going to come online a lot later. So going for these nice little side pickups, that Avalanche toss is still going to do a lot of work, and now Ice and FY, they take finally care of the stack. So there's going to be a large injection of money coming in, as well as levels. Like the Wisp is sitting here at level 5 right now. At the end of this, he's still going to be shy of like level 5.5, but it's not too shabby for him. That means Relocate has to come into play soon.
It's still a hard game to relocate in, though.
Yeah, true, because you're going to get Nightmare and Fiend Script protecting you right.
Relocating against a team with Weaver, who you can't kill. He's just going to run away when they relocate.
Yep.
Tide, same story. He can use a defensive Ravage if he feels like, or there's a lot of counterplay potential. And then on top of all of that, there's still living armor. It's a very difficult game for the IO to become very useful in. And in contrast to the previous game we saw, we haven't really felt the Crystal Maiden yet. It's Fenrir playing it in this game, it was FY in the previous one, and it's 2 very different games and 2 very different ways to play the Maiden that they have to pull out. But if you're not getting a lot of value out of CM very early on in the game, it's kind of Ogre Syndrome from last game, right? Why would you pick the Maiden if she is not providing you enough early on, which is when she is a very strong pick? It's not a freezing field game either. I don't see it being realistic to get good freezing field.
Yeah, to crack the bottom lane. Funnick comes in at the end of the haster and he TP'd in. He might have to commit Ravage for this band score. Just wants to go in for the split. He wants to force the split out by using the Fiend's Grip. But it's not going to happen. The Blink Dagger comes up for the Brewmaster and all the timing is wrong.
And the farm here continues, and I've got to say, the conclusion is still the same. This game's a bit
he's got to split the second he sees Van score. Or does he?
That means he just showed his blink.
Yes, he
did.
So
there's no surprise factor now for initiation with that for Vici Gaming. That's kind of a big deal that he goes out and shows this to Navi. Is this
the kind of thing you're talking about then? Vorce going straight past the Tier 1 tower? I thought actually he was going to go a lot deeper than that.
It's so difficult playing Prophet in this game right now. Oh well, you can play in your own jungle, then it's really easy. But they don't get enough value out of that. Someone has to be in that top lane, and I guess Black is the best call.
Mm-hmm. Who are you going to send up there? The Crystal Maiden?
Yeah, there's kind of no one who could deal with this Weaver right now for the Radiant side. They're going to have to itemize against it. I think Black going for the Midas is the right call. We see it less and less these days. We see Prophets often going for the face boots first, and sometimes they don't even get Midas, but a Midas in this game, I think, is a good choice. They need Black to get really farmed, because I think this is the kind of game where, I know it sounds a little bit crazy, but Tiny and Brewmaster usually just win games together. Teamfight control from the Brewmaster and Tiny clubbing away. I don't think Tiny can do it this game. I don't think it's enough.
Super. Blink. Slap. He gets split off. Vescor's in trouble. He's actually trapped there, especially when Fenrir slows him down. The Frostbite trying to make sure he stays where he is. And then the relocate. The Whisper is doing some nice work for Funnick. Ravage will trigger. FY to go down, which means Ice to stay here, but with Black joining the fight, Vorce as well. We bring the whole kit caboodle down here. Black into the tree line. They've got to get this bug off him before Vorce can jump in with a Frostbite into the top. Vorce able to time-lift himself away to safety. Black will stay alive in the trees where it's safe, while Ice staring down at Vorce. He doesn't have his combo available, so because that he will be backing up. But a 3-5 trade-off. The exorcism was triggered by Identity though.
A very good play here from Vici Gaming to take that opportunity and get these 2 kills for 1. Worth mentioning is FNG wasn't in the fight, so only the living armor was there. There was no leech seed, and all the while he got level 6 top. So the next time around for Vici Gaming, it's going to be harder to pull off that play when the overgrowth is there as well to just hold them together. That skill, by the way, we didn't talk about that yet. How good overgrowth is with exorcism. It's a long lockdown where the spirits will just go to town and deal a lot of damage. Dendi now with a 13-minute Yules. He was playing against an IO Tiny lane. And he has 4-0.
It's not only the initial double kill, but the straight follow-up kill he got after that. Now, Super, he's in a little bit more trouble. Lavorce and Vanscore, finally the Fiend Script will be used. It wasn't used the entire last engagement, and Super will die here. So it's nothing that was going to save him from that. With Lavorce damage available, they bring him down and take the Tier 1 tower up on the top lane. Navi are winning on all fronts right now up against Vici Gaming.
Yeah, the one thing that Vici Gaming can do to come back in this is just to try to keep their cool. It's not that important, as we talked about in Game 1.
They're coming again.
Oh.
Nightmare over on Tiny. FY, he's keeping the tether there as long as possible. No Ravage, but he'll actually toss FNG down, meaning it's a guaranteed FY kill. That should trigger overgrowth. He's trying to ensure the kills right there. You're sitting eyes up. He's got his 4-4 combo, but then he gets the silence off. So no joy for him, no rune either. I don't think he'll try and play around with it. Avalanche toss. He'll get a revenge kill over on the face. Buys up the overclock before death. It's not a large amount of money being lost. He does give the kill over to Navi.
Still great play from Ice here to get a turnaround kill in that situation. Just knowing the limitations of the hero, he chose the exact target he could kill. Dendi would not have died to that burst, so good targeting here. Now, Blink Dagger is going to be picked up by Funnick and sold again. I'm thinking about a mech instead. If they don't want to build that one on Dendi, I guess he is the hero of choice for that. No, he wants to buy it in the side shop. Okay. So Blink Ravage now available, and Navi are on the offensive here. This tower's gone. The question is if Vici Gaming want to.
They wasted that.
Here.
They just wasted that. They used fortification after the tower went down. They tried to get a little bit tricky and use it before, but as in like a fraction of a second before, but they end up blowing the fortification, which means now Navi, if they want to, they can keep this push going because there's no refresh fortification available for them. That actually means Denny's ulti even has time to hit into this thing. Super's sitting here waiting to go, but the Tide Ravage is there with a Blink Dagger, which isn't revealed to Vici Gaming. They can't go for this. Vanscore needs to get himself in range for a Fiend Script. That's the only way this is really going to work.
And look at Fenrir.
He's got no way out.
Talk about being stuck.
But he can't TP, and he knows that Navi could just be potentially sitting around there.
This could be an opening. He might try for it.
They're close enough. The Fiend Script. There'll be no split from Super. Navi have got this well under wraps right now. They'll push him. They'll take the Tier 2 tower. And this is where Black's pick does come into play. It's a split push and force some kind of reaction. And they get it from Funnick. So he'll be the man on the defense. I don't know if Navi really have enough to finish this tower, even with no fortification. Fenrir smokes to walk out. The buyback comes from the Brewmaster, and now Fenrir, Sentry Ward, they'll catch a force down, but Fenrir jumped up for Denny. The relocate also searching for Denny, but he got a double silence off, so Ice can't use his combo just yet, and he misses the avalanche, while Lavorce actually dives under the Tier 2 tower for the Crystal Maiden. He's Yakuching his way out of here, into the tree line for a moment. They can see him, but they can't do anything about him. Navi are moving perfectly during these engagements.
It's so hard to relocate in this game. Like, even relocating on Dendi, there's the counterplay from a well-timed silence. He has the Yule Scepter as well that he can use when Tiny starts going for his combo. And even if it's just the avalanche toss he blocks,
Guy's in trouble. The Yule Scepter up towards the air. He's got a tether. They couldn't get the silence up in time. He came back to Ice. There's a big avalanche with a Ravage. He'll buy space Super. The Nightmare actually protects him in that case. Now he'll go into the split and focus on the Vanscore, sending the tree up and towards the air. The Bane's on the sidelines. Black comes to join him as well. This man's rushing up an Orchid too. They toss down. They bring down FNG. And with the entire team here in the middle lane, they don't want to try and force the Tier 1 tower, but Weaver, in the meantime, he just took the Tier 2 tower in the bottom lane.
Great play here from FY to get out of that and turn it around. And Vici Gaming get a lot out of this. They get the Tier 1 here in mid. As you said, they lose the Tier 2 bottom, but I think that was inevitable anyway, so I don't even want to call it too much of a trade, because that was bound to happen with us down here fairly soon. So they got a good fight out of that, and in addition to that, Ravage was used, and they didn't lose a single hero. So this opens up the map a little bit. They can try to go for some plays, and if nothing else, at least farm with more safety, knowing that the fight's probably not coming in the next minute and a half. And well, if you're Navi, I still think you're okay with the situation. I think Kavost. He's getting close to the Lincolns. This is still going to be probably around, might not be sub 20, but pretty close with a Midas and Treads. That's a fairly good time.
Yeah. The primary, I think, problem that Navi is going to have is when we really get to the late game. Like, Mark was already saying, hands down, like VG Gaming looking really damn good in the late game, but you've still got Prophet, who's going to be split pushing the crap out of you, and then you've got potential for a relocate Tiny in with a big Aghanim Scepter. So the clearance of buildings is okay once you get through the tier 1 towers. And then you get that Aghanim Scepter up, which is now 900 gold away for Ice. He wants to crack at a Vorf. He's actually not got the full hit. Oh, maybe! A Vorf's dropping very, very low. Took a split second to time-lapse out that one. But they're not able to get the kill up there. While Dandy, his exorcism's already been triggered. They have the Aegis Immortal. They are quite good and ready to try and force out this middle lane. But Fenrir is going to hold him back.
Still poking at most top lane. He's actually not going to be fine.
They need to get out of here. No extra stuns, but they have enough damage to kill off the Wisp before he's able to CP out. They do at least get one, but they don't get the main man. They wanted Ice more than anybody else. They want to make sure he can't get item transition. Because the second that Aghanims comes up, the flash farming of a Brewmaster, of the Tiny, is so much easier. We should get the 18-minute Orchid over on Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, Black has been doing a good job in this game, I think. He's 2-0-2. He had a very hard lane after they did the trade-off, and he's still been finding the farm he needs. He hasn't died, and as I mentioned earlier on in the game, I think the Tiny is going to need backup from the Prophet in this game in terms of dealing the damage in the fights, and I think Black's item build here is really good. Orchid first, so they have a counter to either Weaver or like the feed script from Bane, etc., or even Orchiding the Tide and not attacking him, just so you have that 5-second buffer in which the Ravage is not going to come off. And then I'm imagining the next items for Black are, after these treads, I think is going to go into a Hex, and then maybe some sort of significant damage. They need more control and more damage out of him, and he's definitely on the right track right now.
Yeah. It's a BKB Maelstrom. I'll be for him.
Top lane.
Super's enjoying his farm in mid, but yeah, you're right. FNG comes in on Ice, so she blocks him in the tree line here. He'll go in again, but Ice has no way out of here.
This is a pretty big problem.
Yeah, you're literally pinned to the trees. FY, well, he's going to start TPing out. Ice, well, he's going to get overgrowth as well. This is not the place they want to be. The Yule Scepter up from Dendy. I don't know what he was really concerned about, but FY, he started to relocate.
And
Ice can't go anything there. He is literally blocked by an invisible tree right now. This kind of stuff is just where you... the mocking as well of Ice. He'll avalanche 3 of them. That Denny will get the double kill. They're actually purposefully not attacking him, just so Denny could also be, like, fueled even more money there.
That has got to stop for Ice. That was a pretty hilarious play coming out of FNG there. And just the patience as well. He's just standing there like, what's Ice going to do? Are you going to TP? We overgrowth you. They're going to relocate out? Not happening because they went on FY as the first target, so... And at the same time, Black was doing what he could bot lane to get that tower, but he didn't do it.
It's not going to work.
Here comes Living Armor. Level 4.
You got Living Armor and Fortification on these Tier 1 towers. It's
hard to get through.
Yep. Now Fenrir, Vanscore, as well as Funnick going to team up, and then he comes in again. Looking for the last hit, and he's got it too. But tied up the 4 staffs down so he can attack it. Now there may even be a follow-up. There is actually Super comes in. They had to press the major bonus damage. The Bane will go down. FY so low on life, but the Exorcism will reach him. Funnick now gives the space with the Rabbit, holding Black in position. They'll send him up in towards the air again with the Brewmaster. FNG wants to have a crack. He's staying in close, and there's your overgrowth. Catching Ice as well. Can't use the tree to any kind of success. Black being chased down by Funnick into the tree line. Out to gut him down. And Navi, they're just rampaging through VG Gaming. They want the full team wipe, and Black are going to get it. Super will go down. They took down everybody. It expended a lot of time because Fenrir was even able to respawn after that. But Navi's still taking a 5-0 battle here.
And that fight was just all about the overgrowth with Exorcism on top. Perfect overgrowth time. Yeah. FNG, I think this is his best hero for me. I think he plays an exceptional Treant, and you've just seen it this game. The Living Armors have been on point. Great use of the Nature's Guys earlier up top, and this is the perfect overgrowth. He's been doing exactly what he needed to do in this game so far, and this was without the Blink Dagger that he now has in about 500 gold, so it's only going to get easier for him to pull these kind of plays off, and he doesn't need to worry about not dealing the damage. They have lots of damage between Dendy and Wolf.
I think they're realizing now too. Check where the Whisper's gone. They don't even care about this Tier 2 tower. They know it's gone. Fenrir is trying to stay close up. He might be able to get a denial off. Just Novering, making him work hard for it. While FY just farms up bottom lane. Buys a little bit more space for his team. But Navi take the Tier 2 tower and they can back up. Roshan is still another, well, about 3.5 minutes away from potential spawn time. But they don't really care. Let's move to Tier 2 tower. Just one objective after the next. They should definitely be watching out that timing for Revorce, though, when he does lose the Aegis.
One thing we haven't looked at too much is the graphs, and it's pretty impressive. This is a 12,000 golden experience lead for Navi at this point. Dendi and Vost are way ahead of the corresponding farmers on Vici Gaming. They're ahead by about 4,000 on each of them, which is, of course, the majority of the net worth difference here between the two teams. And I mean, if you're Vici Gaming at this point, it seems very hard to find the fights. One thing that Navi has managed to do in their draft this time around is that first of all, they don't have a ticking clock against them in the same way.
Yep.
They have heroes they're more comfortable with, in my opinion, and they have counter picks. They actually have ways of dealing with what Vici is trying to do in the fight. They're great against the relocators we've talked about. They've got grip and silence on the Brewmaster, and they've got ways of dealing with this burst damage that IO Tiny usually brings to the table through their itemization. We have the Lincolns on Vost, we have the Yules on Dendi, and of course Ravage is and Overgrowth, just great counterplay mechanics here for them. Navi is playing a really damn good game compared to game number 1. They're playing a lot better, and I think they've got the draft to do it as well.
The only thing I'm getting concerned about is what Vost picks up next, and this might just be extra insurance to make sure things don't go horribly wrong. But he picks up a BKB as his next item right now. So this does restrict a large amount of damage. Obviously, Dendi is going through the roof for his kind of farm. He's getting his own BKB as well, but he's about to crack level 16. And with that, you're basically looking at having a very, very powerful exorcism. So their physical damage, I think, is actually still going to be okay. Even though a Voss doesn't get something like a Desolator, you go, normally it's like Lincoln's, then into damage, or BKB and Desolator together. They're the two you go, but he's gone very, very defensive with his item build this time around. But they're coming to bottom lane. They see Ice farming up. FY's get to relocate, save him. He's already starting. There's your tether in, and pulls him straight back out to safety.
That's dead IO.
Yeah.
Navi was looking for more than that, but
they'll take what they can get. And there's no Shadow Blade that will save him from this fight. And there he is. Comes back in again. He may as well do as much damage as he can to the creep wave. He's moving up to try and TP out. No, there's no way he can do this. He'll be spotted out. There's Yulsif that's available. He'll go into the tree line. He wants to tether back down again. But there was no creep wave anywhere near him. So he just wastes some time. This allows Flight to start the creep skipping up on the top lane.
This living armor is bothering Vici so much right now.
Yeah.
Every time they try to go for a trade-off play where they try to get map control, they can't get it. It's just... The second pick Treant from Navi in this game, I think, has been the most important pick they made in the whole game. And it's not because his kill attendance has been that high. He only has 4 assists. Treant generally gets very few assists and kills because living armor obviously is a global ability, but doesn't credit you with anything.
They can't even smoke game. I think maybe they can. Where's the sentry ward? They can see FNG walking away. He'll TP out. He's on the other side of the tree line. And Black can't get to him in time. Divorce, though. The Lincoln's will be triggered. The Orc is still available, but then he triggers BKB, turns kills the Crystal Maiden, and looks over to Super as well. He's going to time-lapse out most of this damage, and then just Shikuchi himself away. There is no control whatsoever from this Vici Gaming lineup on him right now.
That was a good BKB time, so...
Yeah.
It's been handed so far.
It wasn't even to block the Orca, which I thought maybe that would just be the primary thing he needed it for.
Oh, if he didn't have it there, I think that's the exact play Black would have gone for, because they already triggered it with Frostbite, and then they wanted to Orchid him, but he already cast the BKB, so Black didn't even get to use it. But yeah, that's the situation that you can't get into with a Deso if you're Voss. You would have died there. Oh, gets intimidated here by Super. He could have taken that fight and forced a split, I think, but he has no idea where the other heroes are.
Without his bigger damage, and you're right.
That's a bold play from Super. That's just mental. That's a 100% mind game right there. He couldn't win that fight.
Maybe he thought, considering there's a relocate to save him, it could have been enough. And that will be in the back of a Voss mind too. You must be aware that Black could TP at any moment, and while his BKB is down, he has to be doubly careful. Because if he throws away his life points, he's at 5-0-2 right now. That's a good streak coming up from him. Not to mention his levels. That's good experience, good gold, all that could be claimed by VG Gaming. And you don't want to give that kind of momentum. I think they're already going to have enough trouble with this, but they're still worried about looking behind them. Now FY, for the first time, he's the one that gets caught out of position. Tethering down, but that allows...
Oh, Dendi is really fast.
FNG, he's all going to... They caught him out. The Nova will come as well. Super, Blink, Climb, Split. He got Bansker and a Vorce slowed down. The bugs are over on Fanrip. He's underneath the tower. The Avalanche well off target by Ice. As a Wrath of Nature also coming in. A Vorce comes out of Invis at the last moment. So gets hit by the heavy Wrath of Nature. And the Brewmaster Split's already been used.
This is a free Roche.
Yeah. Well, then again, I don't know if Navi really want to just pull back right now.
I think they do. They want to defend their side lane. We see Evo supporting bottom to disallow Black from...
Yeah, they are. They're moving over, you're right. With their towers also, I thought maybe there's at least one tier 2 tower left.
No, they have nothing to gain on this map really, apart from the Roche right now, and of course the tier 3s, but I don't think it's that time yet for Navi. They're controlling the map very well.
When Funnick has his refresher, then he'll be good for it. Oh, they found Black.
Oh,
Mischievous Guard's going to go. They're going to slow him down the Sprat. As he tries to two of them, Black needs more space for the 4-star from Funnick. Gets him close enough to it. Now the X is going to rip through the tier 3 tower. There is no fortification. 16 seconds left on cooldown. But that tier 3 tower is toast. Tough damage, but it's merely chipped, and Denny's still walking around with the regeneration rune. So he's more than happy to keep this pressure going. And now that she triggered the regeneration rune, so be back to full life and full mana. But the Exorcism is about to wear off. Ice is doing what he can to hold back the Freak Wave, and now Super. There's no split. He's going to get Fiend stripped up. They'll control Infantry. Walks up for the Frostbite. He deals it up into the air, so Vance goes full duration into the Ravage as well. Denny is beyond godlike here. They'll look to bring down the mid-rank. The boss is still here beating away. The buyback comes out from Profit. But do they really have enough to push Navi back? There's no overgrowth. The Avalanche top combo is there. FNG in for the lead speed. They've got the whiz down. No buffed up Tiny. They're going deep for remorse. Looking at Black and GG. It's 26-7. After game number 1, Navi will head back and force us into a third and deciding matchup to see who will be the first team eliminated from the ESL ONE.
This was just a totally different team. I have nothing more to say.